Hi, this is Salo from Smart Electrical Solutions. Today we want to show you how to replace an outlet or even install a new outlet in perhaps your basement or some other location. And I hope you guys have fun with this. So once you open the walls in your house, this is what you're gonna see. You're gonna see the studs, you know, the 2x4s. And what you wanna do first, you wanna find the height for your box. Typically, if it's a new construction, I do 18 inches from the ground, but you can just match the other outlets in the house if it's a renovation, or you can do to your preference, 18, 16. I've seen some people doing different heights. Once you have the height that you desire, in this case, this is my marking, and we're going to be installing just one outlet, so we're buying just a single gang box, which only has the 2 screws for one device. On the side of the box, this is for a standard size sheetrock. You know, it's for a standard 5/8 and 1/2 inch sheetrock. So what we do is we're going to use those to place our box. So basically, they're gonna go like that. Once we get the box in place, what you want to do is you just want to hammer these down all the way down until the the nail is actually going against the plastic, so the box is nice and secure. So our next step is to run the wires. On most residential homes, you're gonna find the Romex wire. Usually you're gonna have the 14 gauge or 12 gauge wire. 14 is for 15 amps and 12 gauge is for 20 amps. And according to the code book, you know, there's certain areas that they're gonna ask for a certain size, but at the same time, you can just, if it's, let's say this is your living room, you can do it in 14 or just match whatever it's in the house if it's a renovation. So if you have 12, you wanna go with 12. If you have 14, you wanna go with 14. So for this demonstration, we're gonna use 14, which is typically for bedrooms or living rooms and, you know, most of the standard areas. So what we wanna do first is you can use a screwdriver or even the tip of a sharp tool and just open the holes in the box. The boxes typically have holes at the bottom and top. So if you're bringing your wire from the top or the bottom, just open the holes accordingly. And you know, usually you can just push it in and squeeze both, to both sides, and they should open up. So once you open those holes, you want to send the wire in through the hole, and you want to leave about, the code asks for 6 inches inside the box. So typically what I do is I usually put about this much over the box. So let's say a foot, there's about a foot of wire inside. For demonstration purposes, let's say that you're going from this outlet to another outlet, which typically in your house you're gonna have several outlets. So you're gonna go into one and then to all the other ones. So let's run this one in. And actually, as we do that, let me show you one thing. If you're gonna be doing one of these projects, I would recommend getting something like this. If you look up here, it says 14.2 and 12.2. 14.2 is the wire that we are using at the moment. And what you wanna do is, again, let's say about a foot in, you can just squeeze, and that's gonna actually cut the wire. And so all you do is this, and that's it. And you can already put the wire inside the box without the casing. Now, once the cables are inside the box, typically what you want to do, you need to secure the box within 6 inches from the box. Is typically what I do. There's different codes that say 6 inches, depending on how the hole is, could be 6 inches to a foot. So I always do within 6 inches just to be safe. And you want to use one of these staples. So if you want, one of the staples, what you want to do is you want to try and keep the wire closer to the center as you can. And these just go like that. And then you can just use a hammer and just tackle these down until they touch the wire, so the wire is nice and secure. What you want to do now is, let's say that you did not have one of these guys and all you have is a knife. If this is all you have, what you want to do, and you just got to be really careful, you want to slice the cable in the center and come down probably about 6 inches or so. Once you do that, just open the cable, and then as you can see inside, there's about 1/2 inch of plastic, and that's what you want to have inside the box, about 1/2 inch of plastic. So if you have about 1/2 inch of plastic, you can use the knife and just slice the bottom of the cable. So you can take this out. And just pull, just pulls right out. Just like the other one, you can take this out. Sometimes you can pull it out. That's all you need. Now this is what you're left with. You have both of your cables. And what I always say is start with the ground. We want to start with the ground. I see a lot of homeowners that have no idea what to do with the ground, and sometimes they won't connect the two or just shove it in the back of the box, and that doesn't do anything. So what you want to do first is you want to separate the ground from the other wires. There's a few different methods to do this. What I like to do is just twist the two wires, probably like 4 turns or so. Once you twist the wires, you want to cut one of them. And you just want to leave a single tail. And now just twist a few more turns. After you do that, our next step is to use one of these ground crimps, or some people call them ground barrows. There's a few different names, but we're gonna put them down in the notes so you guys know what to buy. And you want to slide this in and go in just a little bit past where we cut that wire. With our pliers, there's that guy, which is for actually it is for crimps. So what you want to do, you want to slide this down all the way until it's over our crimp, and then just squeeze it. And that should secure it. If for some reason your plier does not have one of those, you can always just use the side of the pliers. Some people may frown upon this, but it actually works just the same, and just press the side and it's gonna do the same thing. Once you have that, just bring that to the back of the box. And see, that's the reason I leave about 1 foot, because now once we push that in, you still have enough wire to work with. I go into houses where people have a tendency of just having 6 inches, and when they cut, now all they have is a little bit of wire to work with, and like, you definitely want more wire. It's always better to have more than less. Once you have this, I usually push the wires all the way to the back, and then leave about, I don't know, let's say 5 fingers worth of cable, and then you just cut. So now our next step is to, again, using these pliers. What I showed you guys before was the one that says 14.2 and 12.2, but below that you have the one that says 14-12 gauge right there. So we want to use that. We want to use the one that says 14 in our case to strip these wires. And you want to strip the wire about probably like an inch. an inch down. So you just squeeze and then slide that off, right? So we slide we do that to all the cables. Once you have done that to all the cables, now right here where it says solid and stranded, these cables are solid, so we use the solid side. And all you do is put the wire through the hole about, I don't know, maybe about a 1/4 inch down, then you turn to your right side and you're going to be left with the hook, and you want to do that to all of them. Once we have our outlet, we're using a Decora. You may have a different type of outlet. You may have the duplex, which is like the 2 round circles, or one of the new USB outlets. They all work the same way. So on one side, we're gonna have our copper screws. This is where our black wire, or you may have heard people talking about as the hots, or the positives, whatever you want to call it. So our black cable is going to go on the copper screws. Our white cables, our neutrals, are going to go on the silver screws. And our ground on the green screw. Another way to look at it, if you're looking the face of the outlet, the longer one is the white. It's the neutral, shorter one is the black, then the round is our ground. So once we have this in place, we want to start putting these cables in place. So you are always going to want to put the wire on the left and the hook on the right. So wire on the left, hook on the right. Okay, once you do that, then the wire is actually going to follow the way that the screw is spinning. So the screw is going to be getting tight going towards the right side, and the reason we leave the wire on the left is because once you squeeze, see what's happening to the hook? Yeah, it's getting tighter. If you put it the opposite way, as you are tightening, the loop is actually going to open, and that's not what you want, because that can cause an arc. The wire can start to sparkle, and that's unsafe. So we're going to do that to all of them. If you do have a drill and you want to use a drill, that's okay. The only problem with using a drill is that people have a tendency to strip the wires. So if you use a drill, usually what I do at work, if I need to get these things done a little bit faster, I'll typically get a drill and go down. But once I have all of them down, I have a tendency of getting the flat screwdriver and just quickly doing one little 1/4 turn just to make sure that they're in place. And that way I don't strip the wires, and I make sure that they are tight enough. If your loop is like too wide, you can always just squeeze it in. All you want to do, you want to shape the wires. You don't want to just push it in. So remember how I had the wires coming from the top, going all the way to the back, the bottom of the box and coming out. So now the nice thing about that, having all the wires coming off the same side of the box, is that I can push all of them down towards the top once again, and the outlet just easily goes in place. Okay, now we just got to line up those 2 screws with the box. Now hand step. This step, unless you're leaving your walls open, maybe this is a unfinished basement, you won't be putting the outlet until the sheetrock is in place. So let's assume that you have the sheetrock in place and it's touching the box. The ears are actually gonna touch the sheetrock, so the outlet's not moving from side to side. So you're gonna go all the way down until the ears are actually touching the sheetrock. So once they're nice and tight in place, make sure that they're level. And the last step would be to put the plates. And what you want to do is just use the flat screwdriver. You just want to turn until they're nice and snug. You don't want to go too tight or that you may break the plate. They do have the unbreakable plates, a little bit larger, but in the case of this one that's plastic, if you tighten too much, you're gonna break the plate. So that's it.